She walked into the luxurious hotel expecting a five-star experience. What she found instead was a heartbreaking glimpse of her past. But what she did next? No one expected that kind of love. It was a cold, rainy evening when Alina, a successful businesswoman known for her luxury skincare empire, walked into the grand lobby of an elite downtown hotel. She had just wrapped up a major investor conference, and all she wanted was a quiet evening in her penthouse suite. Dressed in designer heels and a tailored coat, she headed toward the elevator, but paused when she saw a janitor mopping the marble floor nearby. At first it was just a glance, then a double take. There was something painfully familiar about the woman in the faded uniform, her hair tied back hastily, her shoulders tired. Alina stepped closer, heart pounding. Samira? The woman looked up, startled, and froze. It was Samira, her best friend from school, the girl who once shared everything with her. Dreams, meals, heartbreaks. They were inseparable until life took them down different roads after college. Alina had always wondered what happened to her. Tears welled up in Samira's eyes as she wiped her hands nervously on her apron. Alina, I didn't know you'd be here. Neither of them spoke for a moment. The silence was full, of lost time, of questions, of emotions they weren't sure how to voice. Alina reached out and hugged her, ignoring the glances from others in the lobby. Samira broke down in her arms. They hadn't seen each other in over a decade. And yet here they were, one checking in as a VIP, the other cleaning the floor beneath her. But Alina wasn't about to walk away. "Come up to my room," she said gently. "We need to talk." And just like that, the night took a turn that neither of them would ever forget. In the cozy calm of the penthouse suite, with city lights twinkling beyond the tall windows, Samira sat curled on the edge of a plush couch, her work uniform still damp from the rain, hands nervously gripping a cup of tea Alina had made for her. Alina sat across from her, silent but watching with eyes full of concern. Finally, she asked softly, "What happened, Samira? We lost touch, and now, this?" Samira took a shaky breath. "Life," she whispered. "It just hit me harder than I expected." After college, Samira had been offered a good job at a local firm. She was engaged, excited for the future. But months before the wedding, her fiancé vanished. No calls, no explanations. He'd taken money from their shared savings and disappeared, leaving her with rent due and no backup plan. Then came her mother's illness. Samira quit her job to care for her full-time. "She was all I had," she said, eyes misting. "And when she passed, the bills didn't stop. I sold everything, took the first job I could get." She paused. "This hotel hired me as a cleaner 2 years ago. It was supposed to be temporary." Alina was stunned. Her mind raced through all the times she'd thought of reaching out but hadn't. And now here was her friend, brilliant, kind, strong Samira, living through pain in silence while she built empires. "I never wanted pity," Samira added quietly. "I just wanted to survive. I didn't even realize this was your hotel chain until today." Alina's eyes widened. "You work in my hotel?" Samira nodded, looking down. A strange silence followed, a mix of shock, guilt, and the weight of unexpected reunion. But in that moment, Alina made a decision. "I'm not letting this end here," she said with fierce kindness. "You're coming with me tomorrow. No more hiding, no more scrubbing floors. You deserve better." Samira looked at her in disbelief, tears falling again. But this time they weren't just from pain. They were the beginning of hope. The next morning, Samira woke in a bed softer than anything she'd ever slept on. The scent of fresh linen and soft jazz playing in the distance made her pause. Was this real? Alina knocked gently and entered with a smile. "Good morning, future executive," she said, holding out a tailored outfit wrapped in silk. "Get dressed, we've got a lot to do." Samira blinked. "Executive? Alina, I clean floors. I haven't touched an office in years." Alina's tone was gentle but firm. "And you're one of the smartest people I've ever known. I didn't forget how you helped me pass every finance exam. You belong somewhere better, and I have the place." She wasn't exaggerating. Alina had already arranged for Samira to shadow her for a week, learn operations, and take over a new initiative focused on women's empowerment through employment, a project Samira would not only lead, but shape with her own ideas. At the office, Samira was introduced not as a former janitor, but as the company's newest director in training. Some staff were confused, others whispered, but Alina made it clear. Her experience is richer than any resume you've seen. Watch and learn. Within days, Samira bloomed. She carried herself with quiet strength, taking notes, asking insightful questions, even suggesting a strategy that impressed the board. One afternoon, after a particularly productive meeting, Alina pulled her aside. "You see now? You were never meant to fade into the background." Samira smiled for the first time in days. A real smile, the kind that reached her eyes. "I just needed someone to remind me." That night, they walked through the city like they used to in college. Two friends dreaming out loud, except now those dreams were in reach. As they stopped by a food cart for warm drinks, Samira said softly, "You didn't just change my life, Alina. You gave it back to me." But what neither of them knew was that this act of friendship was about to catch the attention of someone even higher up, and bring Samira into a spotlight far bigger than either of them imagined. Just a week into her new role, Samira was adjusting to her fresh start when Alina invited her to a gala event hosted by one of the most powerful conglomerates in the city. It was an elite gathering, an invitation-only event that even seasoned CEOs waited years to attend. Samira hesitated. "Alina, I don't belong at something like that." Alina shook her head. "You do now. You've earned it, and more." Dressed in an elegant gown Alina had insisted she wear, Samira stepped into the ballroom and was stunned. Marble floors shimmered under chandeliers. Famous faces mingled, but Samira held her composure until she heard her name called from the stage. Confused, she turned to Alina. "What's going on?" Alina just smiled. "Watch." A well-known billionaire philanthropist stood on the stage. "Tonight," he announced, "we recognize not just leaders but those whose resilience and humility inspire the very core of what leadership means." He gestured toward her. "Samira Khan, your journey moved me deeply. From janitorial work to boardroom brilliance, your integrity and compassion remind us all what it means to rise with grace." The crowd applauded as Samira was called forward to receive a special Emerging Visionary Award. Reporters snapped pictures, executives lined up to shake her hand. But all she could do was turn to Alina, tears in her eyes, heart full. Later that night, on the balcony, she whispered, "How did all this happen?" Alina stood beside her. "Because you were never just someone who cleaned floors. You were the one who gave me hope when I had none. I just returned the favor." That night didn't just mark Samira's rise. It sparked offers from global firms, interviews on primetime shows, and a speaking invitation at a women's leadership summit. She used every platform not to talk about success, but about humanity, struggle, and second chances. Her story inspired thousands, and the bathrooms she once cleaned? Now they bore her name on a plaque, a quiet tribute to the woman who never let hardship define her, and who reminded the world that dignity lives in every job, and greatness often begins where no one is looking.